You are now listening to the highlight reel builder for authors, the Going North podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer and author of the best-selling book, Stay the Course, Dom Brightman. And you're going to be getting some goodies today from the guest that's up next. And today on the Going North podcast, GMP, the great, glorious, and glamorous, we got another panel, baby. That's right. Closing off the greatest month of the year, known as the month of September, featuring some more super special, awesome humans. Thanks to my good buddy from the West Side, Miss Linda Sunshine West, likes to bring some sun and shining sun to wherever she goes. And she even sings happy birthday to all of her Facebook friends. And she's got thousands of them. So, yeah, she keeps her wonderful well of sunshine full. And thanks to that well of sunshine being full, she has been a magnet for super special, awesome people to bring to this show indeed, because we got three fabulous ladies right here who are part of another super special, awesome book that you've heard before. And I love this freaking title. It's freaking amazing. Invisible No More, Invincible Forevermore. So let's give it up for these freaking ladies right here and have each of them introduce themselves. And we'll start with one of my favorite humans on the earth right now, since she's a September baby. And funny enough, I think this interview actually goes live the day of her birthday. Yes, it does. Let's start off with Kristy.
Hi, Dom. Thank you for having me here.
There we go. That's right, Kristy. So what do you do? This is probably the only few times that question is actually useful.
Well, I have been a writer and a ghostwriter for many years. I've ghostwritten 30 books for different entrepreneurs, and the Invisible book and the Fearless Entrepreneurs are my 31st and 32nd, because Linda had me ghostwrite a few of the chapters for people who were too overwhelmed they wanted to contribute but didn't have the time to. So I got the opportunity to interview them and write their chapters, which was amazing. And in my former life, I was a teacher, and now I'm a writer, and I coach people in writing their own books, and I do writers retreats. So I have a lot of fun out here in San Diego.
Well, I could say I need to leave some apples on your desk. My goodness, that's what I'm talking about. That's right. So what grades did you teach?
I was a resource teacher. So my grade level, I worked in the K-8 system. So I had kids from all of those levels. They were resource kids that needed extra help because of learning disabilities and that kind of thing. So small groups and really wonderful kids that just needed a little extra love and nurturing and help with reading and things like that. Yeah, but now then they closed the schools down, and I made the choice not to return. So, yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for your service. My goodness. Teaching is one of the hardest jobs on earth because of the pay grades. It's glad that you're out of that. Let's move on to our next super special, awesome human, Miss Cecilia. Mind introducing yourself to the fabulous listeners?
Well, thank you, Dom, for having me on tonight. I'm a teacher, and I have taught first through fourth grade for 25 years. So now I'm an English language teacher. So I teach English learners now. So I'm on my second year doing that. Yes, teaching is very exhausting. And my second job, I am a health and life coach. So I mainly work with women over the age of 40 on health issues and just feeling more energized and just discovering themselves, feeling fabulous with their mind, body, and spirit, and just trying to help them get off of medication if they need to, or avoid medication. Because for me, I struggle with my health issues I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I had onset symptoms of type 2 diabetes and high cholesterol and joint pains. And I had my gallbladder removed and I was overweight. And anyway, once I discovered how to change my lifestyle, how to change my eating habits. Now I'm on the mission of teaching other people that too now. And so I just finished up my mastery coaching certificate. So I'm a master coach now. And so I'm a licensed health and life coach. That's me, Cecilia Rankin from Minnesota.
Wow. Dang. Man. Well, thank you for your service too. So two fabulous ladies who are both born in September
Yeah.
and both looking great, especially you, Cecilia. My goodness, all that stuff. My God, gallbladder removed and goodness, the freaking diabetes, the cholesterol, and now helping out some wonderful ladies over 40. That's right. That's right. In this case, if you're dyslexic, helping ladies over the age of 4. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Right on.
Yeah. And I didn't mention I tutor kids too in reading and math. I do it all.
Forget Jack of all trades. You got a Cecilia of many trades. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about indeed. Well, since I love vitamin C, we're going to move over to the wonderful Cathy. Hello. Mind introduce yourself to the lovely folks listening.
Hi, Dom. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here on your show. I'm not a teacher. Teaching is one thing I have never, well, besides my kids. And I guess I'm kind of like Kristy because my kids both actually have dyslexia. So I've had to manage their learning process going through that when they were kids. But now they're older, so we don't need to worry about that so much. But now my past is, well, I actually spent about 25 years working in medical genetics, which is something a lot of people don't know about me. And then about 10 years ago, I decided to leave that career and I went into financial planning because I wanted to be able to help women to make positive changes in their life and create the life they wanted to live. But after about 10 years of working in mainly corporate settings, I realized that I was pushing the corporate agenda, but not so much really helping the women that I was trying to help. So that's why I actually left my corporate job about, I guess, almost 6 months ago now to go off completely on my own in my own business. And so in my business, I'm focused on women over 50, helping them to rediscover their brilliance and what they actually want to do with their life. Because especially I'm looking at women that are going towards retirement. And I find so many women, they've spent so many years working, and retirement is this thing they're looking forward to. But then when you actually start getting close to retirement, trying to figure out what does that actually look like? What am I going to do for the next 30 years of my life? So with my financial planning background, I do a combination of helping them understand their finances and their options, but even more so focused on helping them rediscover those things they actually love to do. And what's that next chapter of your story that you're writing? What are you going to do and how are you going to contribute for the next 20 to 30 years that you're around when you're retired? For some, it'll be a business. For some, it'll be a hobby. Some, it'll be volunteer work. Some, just to find what humans need a reason to get out of bed in the morning. So this old idea of retiring and, golfing and gardening and puttering around the house, that might work for a month, but not 30 years. So that's my mission, is really helping women figure out what they want to do with themselves and rediscover those things that actually make them excited and happy and fulfilled and feel like they're contributing to the world.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Especially since 50 is the new 30 nowadays.
Exactly. And so many women do retire feeling like, well, I'm so young. I'm not ready to just go sit on the couch. I've got so much to do. So yeah, you're right. 50 is the new 30, and there's so much so much more to do with our life. So refocusing and doing something that actually makes us happy. Because you think about it too, so many women have been mothers or just focused on their careers or looking after parents now as they get older, and have really put themselves on the back burner and haven't really focused on what they wanted to do with their life. So I'm just here to remind them that, hey, your time is now. Let's go.
That's right. The time is now. That's right. If you want to skydive, if you want to bungee jump, if you want to be a cougar, you can do it. That's right.
That's right. That's right. Go get your university degree or do
That's
all
right.
those other fun things.
There you go. That's right. Become a doctor too if you want to, maybe.
Well, exactly. It's in my mind, it's never too late to get started on something that actually makes you excited. Write another book. We've got lots lined up. Linda's got a whole list now. I think she's shooting for 30 new topics.
That's what I'm talking about right there. And I love what you stand for, Kathy, because one of my pet peeves, one of the things that almost, I wouldn't say boiling hot, is the fact that occasionally folks in their 20s and 30s say, "Oh, I'm old or I'm getting so old," and I'm like, "You blasphemous devil! Like, what is your problem? you're
You're just
you're
getting
not even
revved up.
exactly." And it's good that you're helping ladies 50 and over get over that and find their second win career, if not do the things that they've been putting off because of career and family and all that good stuff. So definitely
Exactly.
love what you're doing there. Love what you're doing. Love what all three of you are doing, because invisible no more. So what made you feel invisible? Any three of you want to answer that question first? I bet Kristy's itching to start.
I'll jump in. Yeah. Well, it's ironic, but being a teacher is actually a kind of a job for an invisible person, because even though you're standing in front of a group of kids and you're working with them, it's all about them. And it's never about you at all, except in how you do it and etc. But really, it's about them. And of course, as a writer, there are very few jobs that are as isolated as being a writer, where you're just you and your laptop or whatever you're writing on. And I had the experience of ghostwriting the chapters that I ghostwrote for these amazing people and telling their stories, and finding myself just really investing in their journey and trying to make it really pop. But then I had to write my own chapter, and I just completely shut down. I practically had a meltdown. I was just like, I can't write about myself. What? Nobody wants to know anything about me. I mean, ugh. And I really, really struggled with it. And what I have discovered in the course of writing that, and in since then, and with the book coming out and everything, is that I've realized the important part of sharing your journey is that other people are going through similar things. So I was raised in a home of terrible abuse, and then I stupidly recreated it when I got married, and that whole abuse storyline, and then getting out of that, and then finding out who I am as a person and living the life that I choose to live it's been a journey. And other women need to know they're not alone, because I hear so many stories of abuse all the time. And women need to know you are not alone, and it is not hopeless. I mean, when I left, I literally fled for my life. I was willing to live on the street if I had to, because I had to get out of that house. And it didn't come to that, thankfully, but it was an adventure. So I've learned that being vulnerable and talking about things in a really open and honest way is making a difference in people's lives, even if you don't know it is. And that for me has been a very important thing, especially now with all the drama and trauma and everything going on in the world. People need to know that there is love and there is compassion and there is kindness out there, and we're all here in this together. So that's how it's been for me in a nutshell.
That's one of the things too that I love about it being a book, because books are forever. Like, you have no idea 20 years from now, somebody will pick up that book. Whereas, a lot of things that are online, or, it's not quite the same as that physical book in your hands that you sit down with and you feel and you can really connect with a book. So I've found the same thing, that there's that feeling of knowing that other people can relate to your stories and get that message that, yes, that they're not alone and there's others going through this. And that, to me too, being in a collaborative book is so much about community, because we've come together so much on so many pieces of this project that it's really been exciting to come together as that group that are putting all of our stories together, and all that energy becomes one big ball of energy. So it's, doing a book project has been an amazing process. And then Kristy, like you're saying, just going through that process of putting your own story on paper is a whole other thing. This book for me, this is my 5th book. So with this one, I didn't feel like I was exposing myself quite as much as the first one. When I did my first book, that was, like you say, my story exposed for the first time to whoever sees it, kind of thing. And I remember feeling very similar. Just, yes, the parts of it are like, well, what should I say? What should I protect? Who should I protect? Can I tell this whole story? And I agree. It is almost therapeutic in a way to spew your stuff onto paper.
Yeah,
I
I
know,
agree with you, Cathy, that books are therapeutic. As a child, I loved reading books because I could escape my real life. I could pretend to be somebody else in this wonderful book with their life just seemed so wonderful. I could escape from my trauma. I grew up, actually, I feel like I've had 3 different lives. Actually, you know what? Well, okay, I guess I should start from the beginning. So the first part of my life, when I came over from Vietnam, I was put in the orphanage by my birth parents because the Vietnam War was coming. So right there, that abandonment feeling, you know, and I remember my parents too. And so I'm really older than what my driver's license says, than my passport says. But anyway, so I could get away with being a 2-year-old, and when I came over to America, because I was like so small and I couldn't talk. Well, I couldn't speak English, so I didn't talk. I was so quiet anyway. So, but then that first bit of life, I was severely abused, and I was in and out of foster homes and put back in that family. And I had to be rushed to the hospital like 3 times. So I almost died and stuff from this severe abuse, and then finally taken away. So then my next life was with the Rankin family. So that was better. And then, it wasn't perfect, but anyway, you deal with trauma as things go on in your life. And but luckily, I knew when I was growing up that when I turned 18, I can make the choice. I can change my life around. I don't need to continue the abuse. I don't need to be abusive myself. I knew I wanted a wonderful adult life. So my goal was to find a good husband. So I was so picky. And I did find a good husband. And I laid down the rules before I said yes to date him. I'm like, these are my rules. And I'm not going to put up with any shenanigans here. So anyway, so if you love me enough, you're going to follow by my rules. And he still does. But anyway, then I have a wonderful son. And I just, I love life now. And I went to college. I become a teacher, and I try to tell my students, being a child is so tough because you're at the mercy of adults, but there's a door. Just keep going. You just stay positive. and have hope, listen to other stories. Everyone has their own story. Like what you said, Kristy, that we all have trauma. We all have a story to tell, and we can heal each other. And so when I met Linda in Clubhouse. And so she invited me to be part of that book. And, I just thought, okay, that's not, that title was really intriguing to me. Invisible No More. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not invisible no more. I am invincible now. And I'm just like, I love that title. So, and then I thought, all right, I can do 6 pages. And so, because, I've always wanted to write a book, but I just haven't had the courage and just and a thick book seemed kind of daunting to me. So I just thought, okay, 6 pages, I can do 6 pages. All right, I'm going to do this, and maybe this will lead to another book someday in the future. And so that's why as a teacher, I tell my students there is hope if you allow people people who care about you guide you and help you. So you got to love yourself so others can love you, and you got to be kind to yourself so others can be kind to you. And so I just hope with thousands of students I've taught that I've made a difference in, I don't know, hopefully at least 10, if not more. But anyway, I would like to believe I've made a difference in all of them, but I know that's not possible. All teachers make a difference, I hope, right, Kristy?
Exactly. Sometimes you wish you could find out how those ripples went out, but they grow up and they go away. And
yeah, exactly. But I've been lucky. I've had some students actually seek me out, come back to me and tell me about their life. And actually, I am part of one of my ex-students' life. He's in the Army. No, he's in the Navy. So he's stationed in Africa right now. And so he contacts me, and he's always thought of me as his mom. Oh. So he gives me Mother's Day cards, and this is like so sweet. And yeah, so I go out with his parents. He's got wonderful parents. They immigrated here from Mexico. And so Hector is his name, and I had him for 3 years. I taught him in 1st grade, then 3rd and 4th. So that group of kids, his group, they were so challenging so that in 2nd grade, no one could handle that group. So that's why the principal asked me, would you teach that same group in 3rd and 4th grade? I'm like, yeah, I love them. That was my favorite group, the challenging group. I don't know why. I go towards challenging kids for some reason. I can even go into a classroom, and for some reason, I sit next to a kid that needs help. I don't know why that is. My body just gravitates. So anyway, I love challenging kids.
Me too. Yeah, they were the ones that when you saw that something was starting to happen, they would light up. And
I think that's why
nothing better,
because you knew you were making a difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that light up. I get it.
Yeah.
I agree
always
with you.
have this saying, the power of yet. I'm like, okay, you don't get it yet. Remember, it's the power of yet, kids. So just because you don't understand a new concept, eventually you will if you keep working at it. If you're interested in it, you keep working at it, eventually you will get it. Yeah. So it's the willpower and the power of yet.
And now we can tell them, look, over the summer, we became a #1 best-selling author. See, you can do that too.
Awesome. Yes. I never imagined to be a part of that. Never imagined in my life I would be part of this group.
I know. It's amazing. The women. Yeah, Dom, you're pretty lucky to get to meet the women in this that have come together, because Linda has intentionally created a women action takers networking group. And I think she's kind of selective about who she invites in.
Yeah, I think so too. She's good at reading people, I think.
I
Oh
guess part
yeah.
of it too, though, is those of us that are on board with what she's doing stick to her, whereas the ones that aren't ready to jump into action and tend to kind of slough off and disappear.
That's right, because those folks are never fun. You got to get folks that are on board indeed. Like, well, they have to be on board and they can't be bored while they're on board. They have to be fully on board indeed. And I love what you said there, Cecilia, about the power of yet, because there could be someone listening right now who is in that phase right now where they're still in that invisible phase and they're like, man, I don't feel invincible yet. Like, what? So, any advice, and anyone can answer this first if you want, of advice for, and it could be even men too, just going through that phase of life where it's like, ah man, it's like, when the heck is this going to end? Like, when am I going to get to that next moment where it's like I could feel a little bit more comfortable in a way where the growth is actually starting to get some darn traction?
Yeah, well,
Think
for me, oh, sorry,
you
Christy.
go, you go, you go.
Okay, sorry. So, yeah, I think, like for me, to become invincible is to have hope and do not hold a grudge. Don't hold grudges against people who have hurt you, because hating people, holding a grudge, all it does is damage you. It holds you back as a human being. You, everybody has a gift. And if you have not found your gift yet, you will if you just think positively and gravitate towards positive people. There's so many wonderful people out there. Sometimes I do get down on myself, down on life, but then, then I got to shake it off and just say, yep, there are good people out there. Sometimes news, when you listen to the news, is so depressing. I've got to stop listening to news because it can be very depressing. And but you don't want to get in that mode of depression, because you're not going to get anywhere in life if you are just angry at the world, self-pity, and feel like the world owes you something just because you've had all this trauma. No, you got to let yourself shine. You've got to give yourself as a gift to the world, because everybody has a gift to give. Like Dom, you have a wonderful gift doing a podcast. And so I'm so happy that you're one of those people, Dom, that's out there. And you ladies too, Cathy and Kristy, you've got a wonderful gift to offer. And we all have to realize that we have to add to society. Don't take away from society, but add to society. And I tell my students there are three types of people. You make things happen, you wait for things to happen, or you wonder what happened. You want to make things happen in your life. And so it's just and it's just a process. And when you go through this process, you're going to grow, you're going to blossom. It's like that seed. Every teacher plants a seed in a child, and as a teacher, I just hope that seed blooms and it gets bigger and bigger and grows to be a beautiful flower. And that's what I just always pray for my students, that they just bloom. And somehow every teacher plants a seed in a child's brain and spirit, mind, and soul.
I so agree with you, especially about it being a process. I think we forget that there is no getting there. It's always a process, and we get to new levels that open up all kinds of things, deeper awarenesses about what we're going through and how we can help, more opportunities, but it's always a process. There's never just, oh, this morning I woke up and I was invincible. It would be nice, but I don't think it's realistic.
Right, we're not magicians.
Right. We're magical, but not magicians. Right. Yes.
Oh no, y'all some magicians. Y'all magicians. Y'all got magic.
I think for men too, I think in many ways it's more difficult for men because there's still so much of that societal pressure on them to be strong and masculine and know all the answers and know what to do and take care of everyone. And, maybe it's okay to sometimes say, I don't know what to do here. And I need some space to work through something. And that's when I think real magic can happen in relationships with men and women, is whatever the relationship is, whether it's brothers and sisters or parents and children or friends or whatever the relationship is. It opens up new doors of communication and understanding that we've lacked in our society in the last, 2,000 years. So I think it's a wonderful thing. And any person is on a journey of self-discovery. We all are. It's just how aware we are and how willing we are to look deep, because sometimes looking deep means facing up to things we don't necessarily like about ourselves, but that's how we can heal it. By saying, I don't like this. I think I'm going to change this.
And I like what Cecilia was saying earlier too, about, being careful about what you're watching or what you're listening to. And so much of the news and everything around us these days is just so much negative, and I think it's really squashing people right now. So we really do need to make sure that we're focusing on people that are bringing a positive message, and really thinking twice about the negative messages we are getting. Like, is that what I want to take to heart? Is that the direction I want to go? Or do I want to choose to at least put faith and hope in that more positive message that others are looking at? And for me, a huge part of kind of making that shift away from the bigger groups' negative ways of approaching things these days is to really find that community of people that are just sticking on the positive route. And I know so many people, you'll hear them talk about, on my social media, there's so much negative stuff. People are complaining about this and that. And I often find myself going, really? Because those people aren't on my social media. I don't follow them. I don't reply to them, so they don't come back into my feed. But my whole social media is just filled with people that are doing great things and doing their best to move other people forward, and to just keep focusing on, okay, what's the next best thing we can do right now? Again, we might not have that magic wand to make everything instantly perfect, but what can we do right now, today, to move in the right direction? So yeah, I find community is just such a huge part of maintaining that positive energy.
Definitely. And turning off the television is also very helpful. Just don't listen.
Just watch those happy cat videos.
Yeah, right. Or puppy dogs.
Yeah. You can't help but laugh when you watch those. We all need more laughter, right? And I think that's the other thing that's missing these days too, that a while ago I thought about it, and I thought, I can't remember the last time I really laughed about, like really felt just that, to have a really good laugh, you almost have to feel a freedom and a lightness, and just there's just been so much heavy stuff these days. So we need to peel that off and just laugh until we cry.
Yeah. Well, that's why I married my husband. He's really funny. He makes me laugh every day. So I'm lucky.
Well, congrats to both you and your husband. Indeed, that's what I'm talking about, that fire, y'all. That's right. It is a process, definitely is a process, especially when self-discovery is involved. And once you get through that self-discovery period, well, then again, that really never ends. It's really a process of growing. You get to this point where you feel invincible forevermore. So is there a particular habit, or especially if it's a daily habit, that keeps you feeling invincible?
Okay, I'm going to tell you, this is silly, but I have a thing. I go, just like say, to the grocery store, and I have a thing about being nice to every single person I meet, regardless of how they act back to me. So like if someone is, even if they look grouchy, and I'll say, "Hi, how are you today?" And however they react is okay. It doesn't really matter. And I found that the people who really like it are the checkers, because they get sort of dumped on, and I'll be like, "How's your day going?" And they look at me like, "What? You're not going to yell at me?" And I have found that I've gotten happier just by doing that. And what's really funny is every once in a while they'll just give me something for free. They'll say, "Here, just take."
You've earned it.
Yeah, but I get more joy out of just seeing their faces when you just show them the tiniest kindness. And that, how sad is it that the tiniest kindness can change their life, because they're not used to even the tiniest bit of, a smile or a friendly voice saying hello. So it's desperately needed, Cathy, like you said, desperately needed right now.
I think that's a good habit to get into. I should
It's
remind
fun too.
myself of that.
It's fun, especially when they're grouchy. It's really fun. It's just, I just enjoy it. They grouch at me and I smile at them and walk past. It's pretty funny.
Back off of you, Kristy. Yeah, I like to smile at people, especially if they seem sad to me. And part of the job I love about being a teacher is that I love giving hugs to kids, especially when I see that they need it. And kids love giving hugs to me. And I'll have kids who don't even know me, little kids. They'll come running up to me and hug me.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just so sweet. And, even with the virus, I did not stop hugging kids. And I know with the mask, they can't tell that I'm smiling, but I hope that my eyes are smiling. Like even when I'm driving, I'll, just wave at people going by me. I'll just, just do that thing like farmers do.
Yeah. That's awesome. Just say hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I think for myself, just making sure that I reconnect with the group and the community regularly, just to remind myself to keep that energy going and to keep that focus on what we're working on and what we're contributing, and just really staying in touch with a few different groups that are all focused on just bringing positive message and constructive forward momentum.
Yeah. Another thing I like to do is if I haven't heard from a person that I know or a friend for a while, I'll just text them, say, "Hi, how are you doing? Just curious as to how things are going for you." Like today, I texted someone who lives in Iowa, and she's a health coach also, and I hadn't talked to her in a long time. But anyway, or, I just will reach out to a friend. Once a week, I'll text somebody who I haven't reached out to for a while. And so, yeah, so that's, it's really, it makes me feel good when I can make somebody else feel good. And I think that's the thing that I love doing, is brighten somebody else's day.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got some candles in here, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Lighting other candles up, indeed, not losing that flame at all. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, yes, indeed. That's right. Some good stuff right there. Good with all the O's out of a Cheerios box. That's right. It's good. Well, coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is, if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time in 2021 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Mine would be, if I was planning to marry the same person I was planning to marry when I was 25, would be run. But no, just serious. That's a really great question. Looking back, and if I could go back and do it again, knowing what I know now, I would not be afraid of going. I would skip the way you're supposed to do it, just skip it and just do it the way I wanted to do it right from the get-go. Because it's taken me so long to get to where I'm doing it the way I want to do it. And I'm so much happier now, and it just works so much better. And yeah, I think I just skip all the nonsense. Just be happy.
And Kristy, it's funny because my first reaction to the question too was very similar to yours. It's be more careful about who you marry the first time.
Yeah, Cecilia did it
I
right.
like how you started with much better, because yes, I was kind of just doing things the way you're supposed to. You know, you go to university, you meet someone, you get married, and you have kids, and you have a career, and yes, and definitely because I got married at 25. So definitely those few years before that, I wasn't putting a lot of thought into what I wanted from a partner or what the next 30 years was going to look like. So yes, that's definitely a piece of advice I would give to a 25-year-old too, to be a little more picky about relationships, because it really does impact your whole life.
Yes.
But I mean, and when we think of relationships, whether it is that person you're going to marry or if it's just the people you're hanging out with. And again, are they people that are with you and encouraging you and supporting you moving forward? Or are they people that are really, they might not even realize it, but are holding you back and holding you down and keeping you stuck with them? So yes, I think that would be a really big message to a 25-year-old, is that just know that you're never stuck, that there is always a different direction, and you're surrounded by people that want to help you go in another direction. So never feel like you're alone, or that you've run out of options, or that this is what, like Kristy, like you say, this is what you're supposed to do, so do it like this. These days there's infinite possibilities of what we can do now. Like when we were kids, there were fewer options of careers and jobs and that sort of. Now there's no end to it. You can invent any kind of job you want. So yes, just know that there's limitless opportunities.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cathy. I guess the only one thing I wish I could redo is have more self-confidence in myself. When I was younger, when I was going to college, well, first of all, in high school, I had wanted to be a doctor or an engineer, but I just didn't have that self-confidence. I just didn't think I was smart enough. And so it actually took me a while to go back to college and get my teaching license, just because I just didn't think I was smart enough. But I was happy that I was smart enough to choose the right guy the first time.
Yeah.
And I was not by the book, because my husband, he's 19 years older than me. Well, my friends who met him thought he was awesome. They're like, oh yeah, you should marry him. And of course, family though, no, family. And I'm glad I didn't listen to family, because I probably would not have had my wonderful life and gone traveling when I wanted, because, my husband was just so good. He didn't want to travel abroad, but I did with friends. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and did Base Camp Everest, and just, went around the world, and he didn't mind, because he didn't want to go with me. So it's like, hey, great, so that's fine. I let him stay home and continue just rock climb in the US. He didn't want to try to climb anywhere else out of the country. And so, but anyway, yeah, so that was the beauty of me not listening to family saying, no, you can't marry him, he's too old. And and I just went with my gut. My husband, he was the kind of guy I was looking for. And so I think that's what people need to do, is listen to your instinct, make good choices. And I know you will make mistakes. I've made many mistakes as adults. It's part of life. I tell my students, mistakes are okay as long as you learn from your mistakes. But if you keep repeating your mistakes, okay, there's something going on. I think you need some help. Okay, if you keep repeating your mistakes. But anyway, yeah, just take a different path if you keep making your same mistakes. But anyway, yes, there are people out there who are willing to help you if you allow people to help you and be kind to you.
Yeah, that's right. Rock solid indeed. That's right. This is one of them episodes that's hotter than fish grease, y'all. I'm telling you, that's right. Hoping y'all been taking magical notes because these ladies on fire, baby. That's right. I play that Alicia Keys on fire song, but I don't need no dang copyright strikes on the YouTube of this page indeed. So that's right. Y'all better be taking the magical notes and keep up with all these wonderful ladies are doing. So for those who need to do so, what is the best way for folks to do just that, starting with the special K yourself, Miss Kristy?
My email is Kristy, which is Kristy at turtleseabooks.com. And you can always email me and reach out, and I'd love to talk to you. If you want to get involved in a collaboration book, Linda's doing more, and we have what was it, about 30 titles that she had.
She's aiming for 30.
Yeah. We're going to be doing those. So this opportunity is going to be available to a lot more people coming up here. And I'm always available for anyone who wants to do a writer's retreat with us or find out more information about writing books.
How about you, Cathy?
Well, my company's name, I call it Inspired Tenacity. So my website is just inspiredtenacity.com. And on that site, there's all kinds of information about my programs and what I've got going on. There's links to my email, and there's also links on there to book a meeting. So that's generally the best way to find me, or LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always a great place to find me as well. So yeah, just inspiredtenacity.com.
And then for me, for Cecilia, you can reach out to me by emailing me at healthcoachingforever@gmail.com. And the word "for" is actually a number 4. So I'm playing with words there. So it's healthcoachingforever@gmail.com. Or you can text me on my business number. And my number is 218-460-1073. And my business website is Choose Your Path with Cease Your Coach. .now. That's that site. Jeez, that's a long one there.
Or they can all just join the Women Action Takers Network on Facebook and LinkedIn and find us all there.
Plus a lot of other amazing women too.
Yep, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Women Action Takers, y'all. That's right. The Watt Gang, indeed, y'all. That's right. These women take action. That's right. That's right, indeed. They take all sorts of action, whether it's intentional or massive. It's massive action, indeed. That's right. So there you have it, folks. Reach out to these lovely ladies and the others you've heard this past sensational month of September and grab some copies of the books, indeed, whether it's The Fearless Entrepreneurs or if it's Invisible No More, Invincible Forever More. I'm telling you. That's right, y'all. That's right. I'm telling you. That's right. All these gems you've been getting from these ladies all month. I'm telling you. It's enough to fill a whole entire mall of jewelry stores, y'all. I'm telling you. That's right, indeed. So any parting words from our lovely ladies before we close up shop?
Thanks for having us. It's great to be here and reach out to your community. And yeah, we look forward to doing it again if the opportunity comes up. You know where to find us.
Yes. Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
This was a lot of fun, Dom. Thank you for having us tonight.
How's it going, you super special, awesome human? Since you made it to the end of this episode, it looks like you really enjoyed yourself. Since you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with at least 3 people in your network and tell them what you really liked about this episode.